Good. So, hi everybody. My name is Kymberly Kykendall, like Christina said earlier, and I wrote a book called Just a Little Bit Different, and I'm going to read that for you guys today. So, Just a Little Bit Different by me, Kymberly Kykendall. For all the kids who are just a little bit different, be proud of who you are. God made you with a special ingredient. Michael was starting first grade. Kindergarten was fun last year, and he liked school, so he was excited. He was a very outgoing boy and always made new friends. How many toes on each foot? Mrs. Nelson asked during math. 5, all the kids shouted. Michael looked down at his hands and smiled. He knew what was coming next. And how many fingers on each hand? Mrs. Nelson continued. 5, the kids shouted once again. Michael stayed quiet and didn't answer that question. You see, he only had 4 fingers on each hand. He was born just a little bit different. How many fingers altogether? 8, Michael whispered to himself. No one else in class knew his secret, at least not yet. Tomorrow was show and tell, and Michael wanted to display what made him different. What do you want to take to show and tell tomorrow? Michael's mom asked him later that day. Maybe the huge rock you found on vacation at the beach? Or what about Lizzie? Kids like iguanas. I want to show my hands, Michael said confidently. Oh, really? Okay. What do you think they'll say? I'm not sure. They might think it's cool. I know I do. Are you nervous at all? No, not really. I know sometimes kids think it's weird, but I can do it, Mom. I'm ready. Michael woke up the next day and was ready to go. All during class, the other students showed fun projects from the summer or their favorite stuffed animal. Now it was his turn. With his hands in his pockets, he walked up to the front of the room and took a deep breath. Hi, I'm Michael. Most people have 5 fingers on each hand, but you see, he heard some giggles in the room and he felt his face turn red. Maybe I should have shown something else, he thought to himself, but it was too late now. Well, you see, he took a deep breath and smiled to himself. He could do this. I only have 4 fingers on each hand. Michael thrust his hands into the air. At first, the kids didn't react the way he thought they would. Some of them looked a little scared. Some laughed and pointed. Michael looked at the teacher, feeling a little awkward. Wow, I love how unique you are, Mrs. Nelson exclaimed. Thank you for sharing that with us. What a sigh of relief. Michael smiled again and continued. My pinky is missing from both of my hands. I was born just a little bit different, but I'm still just like everybody else. Michael continued to explain his fingers, and when he was done, all the kids clapped as he took his seat. At the end of the day, Michael's mom came to pick him up. So how did it go? She asked. Just then a friend from class ran by. See you tomorrow, Michael. He stopped and turned around. And cool hands. Thanks for sharing. Michael smiled at his mom. It was perfect. The end.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Kymberly.
Thank you. And then I also obviously want kids to read this book, but then I also put a couple discussion questions in there just because, I want this to kind of open up and let people talk about how they're feeling. So there's also some discussion questions in here for kids to talk about if they feel different or how they would cheer someone up if they were sad about being different. So it's definitely something that I want to keep the conversation going.
No, and that's great because it also gives opportunity for teachers and librarians, as well as mom and dad at home, who may be reading the book to their kiddos and want to have some other ideas for kind of brainstorming, the discussion and talking more. Because it is something that if you haven't been exposed to it before, there's usually a lot of questions, and questions are good.
Exactly. And that's why I put that in there, because it's like I want people to ask questions and see how other people are feeling, and let's talk to each other.
Yeah, definitely. Because everybody's has their own feelings about that, right? And some people are very comfortable and open, about having questions asked, or it may depend on the time and the mood that somebody's in. But I think for most people, certainly a question versus, long stares are always more welcome. It's hard. I know, at least from a parent's point of view, it's hard for me to deal with the looks. I'd much rather, sit down and have a conversation and let an adult or a kiddo, because it's not exclusive to kids. Let's
absolutely.
Be honest, it's adults, sometimes
Yeah.
need to have
Yeah.
a conversation more than our kiddos, for sure.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, so yeah, I was gonna say,
Okay.
so like with Michael, he was confident about his difference, and he was like, some kids might think it's weird, that's fine. And then he got up there and he heard the giggles and he heard, some laughter and some stares, and then he started, questioning, and he felt a little awkward. So it's like, yeah, let's put it out there, let's get some questions answered, and let's learn.
Yeah, definitely. And that's a big step, I know, for kiddos, but being proud and confident about who they are, and giving them the latitude to share how much they want to share and when, I think really gives them that, that ownership. It's like, look, this is my body, and it works this way, it looks this way, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just
Absolutely.
just a little bit different.
Just a little bit different. Yeah, one of the girls I used to work with, she was probably about 10, and she had a big birthmark on her arm, and kids would always look at it, but they would never ask her anything. And I used to always hear her, and she would just say, "Oh, it's just a birthmark. I was just born like that." And that was her statement. And she was just used to it at that point. Yeah. She was like, "It is what it is."
Yeah, exactly. And that's a lot of times how I explain Nicholas, because people will ask, it's like, look, that's just his body. He was born that way. His body works a little differently from yours. And most kids go, oh,
yeah,
okay. Then on they
exactly.
go.
Yeah. At first it might be a little bit, like, they're caught off guard. And then as soon as you tell them, that's just how I was born, I'm just a little different. And then they're like, okay. And then they just keep going.
Exactly. And then, I think for teenagers, it'll be interesting. I think it's a good idea that you're working on a book for, for teens, because I know that always, you add in all the other teen, stuff. I remember being a teenager.
Yeah.
It's hard.
It's a lot. Yeah.
It's
yeah. And as a
to
teenager, you don't really want to be different a lot of times. You want to be like everybody else. So yeah.
Right. And there's no amount of, I've already hit that stage with my oldest. When I say something about him, he's like, Mom, you have to say that you're my mother. It's just like, I know,
exactly.
But it's okay to, do your best. It's okay to be different. It's okay. I love those things. He's like, Mom, you're my mom.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly. So yeah,
I do. But I feel like the more we have these conversations, but I feel like the more we have these conversations, the more books that are available for people to read, and the less, the more representation that we have, really, and the less odd or infrequent, really, the exposure, it just becomes part of people's daily narrative, like it is in our lives and in your life with, post-surgery. It's just part of the natural, normal day. And so we don't stop and think twice. It's just, okay, we do this way, or, we happen to do this that way because we're missing a hand, or missing fingers or toes or legs, or, we use adaptive devices. It's just, you learn to go with it, and you learn, to appreciate all those differences around you.
Exactly. And like Michael was bold. He just went up there and showed everybody. And, maybe not everyone is like that, and I'm not saying you have to go, in front of the room and say, these are my hands, or I only have one arm, or, nothing like that. But, if someone looks at you a certain way, you might kind of feel that. And it's like, if you just tell them, yeah, I was just born like this, it's okay. And then kind of go from there. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's definitely, it's a progression, right? On how
absolutely
evolves over time. And I feel like it kind of ebbs and flows. So I'm so thrilled that you could join us today. And thank you so much for taking time out of your day to read the book and share how you came to write it. And we're definitely very excited to hear about your future projects.
Yeah, this was great. And I love your organization as well. And I know, I think you're on your Instagram, it says differences are our strength. I think that's what you have on your Instagram. And that's something, I want to reach not just kids, but everybody out there. I talk to people all the time who have limb differences, and they're like, I would have never posted a picture like this 5 years ago, 10 years ago. So it's like, it hits everyone at different ages, but it's like differences really are our strengths. And
Yeah.
it's really something that makes us all beautiful.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And that was something that was important to us, because we see so many, now that we've had Nicholas, we've met some really incredible families, and that we might not have had a chance to meet had we not had him, and he have that limb difference. And really the things that kiddos can do with or without a limb difference, people place so many presumptions about your ability or your intellect based on how you look. And, adults, kids are just, they're crushing it. And, it really is, you're just different, and you do things a different way, but it doesn't mean that it's less or, or bad. It's just different.
It's just different. Exactly. And it's not something to, be ashamed of or feel bad about or feel sorry for. It's just different. That's all it is.
Yeah. And I think, your book and, getting more out there and having these conversations just kind of helps reinforce that it's just different. It's, nothing more, just needs to get out there. So thank you very much.
Yeah. And that's the hope.
Yeah. For sure. We'll get there.
Yeah. Yes. We're on our way. We're getting there. Yeah.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much. I'm thrilled we had a chance to chat today, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, this was great. Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you. Us too. All right. Bye, everybody.
All right. Bye.